Welcome to Married AF. We are your hosts, Brooke and Randall Fowler. On this show, we discuss the topics that really matter.
Like big veiny cocks and our favorite TV shows.
So pull up a chair at our kitchen table and hang out.
While I bulldog my nuts.
Okay.
All right. Howdy there, pussy grabbers. We are back again. A little late. A little later than we had said. But you know
it's
what?
been like
it's
3 weeks again.
You know what? Suck your dicks. And our dicks. Gonna do a shot to Christmas. Miss it already.
I know.
We're still Christmas. I don't like it.
Hate how it goes by so fast. Cheers.
See, that's just too normal.
It doesn't make me want to divorce you. Like that shot last night.
Yeah, that shit was pretty yucky.
Oh,
But
yeah.
so, yeah, we are Married AF. In case you forgot who we are. I'm Brooke and she's Randall. And we are here to entertain you for the next...
Sure. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve. What are our plans?
45 minutes to an hour.
What are our plans for tomorrow?
A whole bunch of being old.
A whole bunch of never being able to be awake till midnight.
Now, here's what I'm picturing. My plan is to play board games with the boys and see how long it takes before I sneak upstairs.
No.
At 10-ish, probably. But I would like to stay up,
Yeah.
but there's no guarantees. You've missed it before. You missed it like the last 2
I miss
years.
it all the time. I'm just saying, you can't bail on me.
No, it's our own kids. So when I bail, you can bail. There is no worry about that. Now, if we have, your sister and our brother-in-law, because she's only your sister, not my sister-in-law, but Jim is my brother-in-law. If we have them over for games, then I'm kind of stuck into trying to make it a little closer to midnight.
Well, I don't
Still
know
no
that they
promises.
that they are wanting to stay up till midnight either. Because I think in the past where we've gone and done fireworks and stuff with them on New Year's Eve, it's usually like all of us are in a mutual agreement of we old. Let's just not pretend like we can stay up till midnight and be okay.
No, I can't pretend. The only way I'm staying up until midnight is if I'm going to be in bed way before midnight, but be watching TV and shit.
Yeah.
That's the only way. I just can't do it, Em. I wish there was I can't party anymore. It's just simple.
There have been several nights within the past few weeks where I've looked at the clock right before I go to bed and it's like 11:30. So be impressed.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
It is
There's still been
serious.
nights where I was ready to go hard in the paint with some TV and you are gone.
I like sleep, man.
I know.
And I'm the one that the child wakes up in the morning. So
Yeah. So, Married AF, we are brought to you by Get Wax and Buy a Bidet, but you're not going to buy the shit. So, you can look for it in the show notes or whatever, but you know what?
the
Hey,
links and the
we'll
codes
mention
are
them.
in the show notes. But
Don't do us any favors. Don't start now.
why start now?
Yeah.
It's
Why
been-
start buying some shit now?
It's been almost 2 years.
Yeah. Don't patronize me about buying something at this point. It would piss me off. However, you never know. So if somebody wants to buy a shitload of bidets and wash your asses, cool. Do it. Use our code that's in the show notes.
Put
I
bidets
don't
in
know
all
what it
your
is.
bathrooms in your house. I know you got more than one.
Yeah, some of y'all listen to Jody B too at Po' Boys, and I know you're buying off his shit because that dude's rich on this toilet money.
He's making it rain with toilet money. He's got the heated, full toilet gangster edition.
Yeah, it does everything. It's the rich man's shitter.
It makes him a coffee while he's pooping.
Yeah, so figured we'd review our favorite Christmas presents that we got from each other real quick for the tens of listeners that remember us. We're still here.
That are still hanging around, wanting to listen.
Mine, I posted mine on Facebook. Mine was the mixed tiles, or what are they called? The sticky
They're
tile?
called mixed tiles, yeah.
That's what I thought.
The new ones, the new 6.
Yep. Adding to the wall of fame. For us, those are always my favorites. You've gotten good now. You've got quite the eye where used to I'd have to kind of tell you what pictures to put. Like, I want this picture. I didn't do that on any of these. You just picked the right ones. Like, kind of now.
I think so,
after 10 years.
It's been like 11.
What photos, I don't know, I guess struck a nerve with me or something. But yeah, you did great. They're all awesome. I love that wall. That wall is my favorite place in the house.
What's funny is that when everybody came over for Christmas, Susan went up to it, and we discovered that Susan has taken probably 90% of those pictures that are on that wall. Oh, yeah. She's been the photographer for, I don't know how many are there, but it's a good 85-90% of them. Yeah,
we need to give her a credit somewhere and a little vinyl sticker at the bottom. Photos by Susan.
Thanks, Suze.
A shout out to Susan, her sister, 9 years breast cancer free today.
That's right. Today is her 9-year birthday.
Soldier, savage.
Yes, no cancer.
Nope. Pretty big day. She's approaching that damn 10-year historic feat.
It's good stuff. She's every year.
Solid gangster.
Is a win.
Yeah, if it can go wrong, it goes wrong for her, but then she beats that, whatever it is. She's got a horrible body that has betrayed her like mine. Very similar.
Worse, though, with rheumatoid arthritis and cancer.
The cancer, for sure. But she's also got nagging knees that are bad.
Don't make it a competition, because
it is a competition.
She wins.
But see, she does with the cancer.
She wins.
We throw that out.
She wins.
If we throw out the cancer, it's close. Because she might have rheumatoid arthritis. I have broken neckitis. So
she had cancer.
Let's stop the cancer. Let's take the cancer away.
But the fact is,
yeah, she had breast cancer. And stage 4. Like, it was
not. It was stage 3C. It wasn't stage 4, but it was like
whatever.
Terrible. A dick hair away from stage 4.
It went to her lymph nodes. So
yes.
Terrible. But it was great doctors, took good care of her.
Yes.
And she's good to go.
Yep.
She is a strapping woman. Whoop asses. She whoops some asses.
Yep. And she takes good pictures of the Fowlers.
She takes great pictures of everybody. Mm-hmm. If one could be an iPhone Pro photographer, she would be that.
She doesn't have an iPhone. Her daughter Jordan does, though, and is amazing at taking pictures. She used to have an iPhone, or has it always Susan's never had an iPhone. Never.
Well, what the fuck?
Her and Jim are always Android. Her children are iPhone users like we are.
It's a goddamn shame. That's why it's always fucked up when I send them shit. Don't know if they.
You can't send videos. Yeah, videos come over all dumb, and then pictures are degraded too a little bit. But I don't know. It's stupid. iPhone and Android need to figure that shit out.
But I keep forgetting the canvas painting you got me too of our picture. It's still sitting on the. We got to find a place for that.
We do. Well, first we need to get down all the Christmas decorations and put all those away, and then find a final place for that.
Hey, that's your world.
We got to get more bins. And you got to take all those lights off the tree.
I'm never taking those off. Those are going to just be there. They just won't be lit up. We'll plug them bitches back in next year. And 4th of July, because it's red and blue.
Randall.
Beautiful.
Cool. All right.
Actually, I don't know how that will be once leaves come back. Well, it would just hide them even better, probably.
And somebody would bitch to the HOA about it, probably.
Yeah.
It's tacky. Yeah. We're going to take them
in
down.
This neighborhood, probably, right?
So my favorite present, is it time for me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is, of course, the Walking Dead books and the awesome case that you made for them. What is that?
I guess that's what you call it. I call it an enclosure because I don't know what it really is. A cabinet?
It is more like a cabinet because I'm looking at it. It fits. Did you see how perfectly it fits in that little cubby of so the shelf we have, like the 15-something-year-old IKEA cubby shelf that I have. It fits perfectly in there. So he built a wooden box with doors on it that are chained and padlocked, and it has "Don't Open, Dead Inside," just like from in the hospital in episode 1 of The Walking Dead. And it's got the what's that word?
Compendiums.
Compendiums.
Which is it's ridiculous how they have, you can buy them in sets, which has like 4 to 5 comics each. So there's like 47 of those.
Right.
Or you can buy each issue, which there's 196 of those. Mm-hmm. Or
why didn't they just round it up to 200?
Put them into a compendium set, which is more expensive, but you get like 40-something issues per compendium.
So there's 4 compendiums that include, it's the entire series, beginning to end. I'm only on chapter 2 of the first one because it's pretty hard to sit down and read something here, especially on Christmas break because young child.
Well, good luck to you ever getting reading time until he is 10 plus. No, you're going to have to do it like you do it in little
chunks,
segments, which is fine. You own it. That's why I'm glad we got it.
I'm super stoked about it. They're amazing. I've already told you some of the differences in the very beginning, like how Rick and them are from Kentucky.
Like a shitload is different.
It's a shitload, but it's also a lot's the same, but a lot's different. Like Tyrese comes in way earlier. Tyrese is already with them. Shane's already dead when they were at the campground. Like the very first campground with the RV and shit. That's where Shane dies. Similar circumstances where he takes Rick out to the woods and wants to talk to him or whatever. But instead of like in the show where Rick stabs him and then Carl shoots him when he comes back as a walker, Shane is about to shoot Rick and Carl walks up and shoots him. He's like, "Don't hurt my dad." Boom. Shoots him like in the neck. So early on.
There's no Daryl.
Daryl doesn't exist. So Tyrese and Carol are kind of, and then that's about as far as I've gotten.
So weird to me though, because even though those changes are small,
it changes the whole.
Makes it a whole different experience.
It does. It changes everything because it's the entire arc of the story is very similar, but the details are very different. And so I'm super excited because it's like reading a whole new story, but it's not, Yeah.
Well, I want to give a shout out to, I believe it's called Skybound is who I got the Negan backstory book.
Yes.
And the quotable Negan from. You don't talk about customer service. I can't believe it because I'm the worst to get that praise from. But I ordered Brooke the Negan backstory just to have it with the set, and then they had this other little cool that's got all of his best quotes, which many fucks in his quotes.
We need to put like on the like back of the toilet or something downstairs.
No, for sure. But the backstory for one, it's excellent. The backstory,
very good.
If you've never had a chance to read it, it's called "Here's Negan." But I ordered it from that Skybound place. Got it. They sent me the quotable Negan. Arrived, but it didn't have the "Here's Negan" backstory book. So I just emailed them. Was like, "Hey, I got the quotable Negan. Didn't get the Here's Negan. Are they coming separate?" Which is fine. But I just want to make sure they're going to be here by Christmas.
Yeah.
The guy replies, "No, they should have come together. Don't worry. I'm sending you another Here's Negan with a new tracking number. Have a great day." I was like, "Well, shit. Okay." So they send me. So then the Here's Negan arrives.
The separate one by itself.
With another quotable Negan. And then another Here's Negan shows up by itself, which was the replacement.
Yeah.
And we got to keep all of it.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So we gave B-Rob one. He got the other one.
He did. We sent him the Here's Negan, and we gave the extra quotable Negan to Griffin.
Yes, for his girlfriend to give her dad, who's a big Walking Dead fan. But here's the thing about the Walking Dead stuff that I learned when I was looking up all this stuff to buy for Christmas. This shit's going to be worth a lot of money one day. When this series is over and like having the whole set of anything, whether it's all the comics or the volumes or whatever, it's going to be worth a shitload. No doubt about it. The shit's is insanely Robert Kirkman, if he is not a very rich man, I don't know what one is.
He is a rich man. He's got to be. I mean,
the Rick movie's coming out. He's a huge, like, third of that total ownership of those movies.
Oh, yeah. The Fear of the Walking Dead, all of it.
The whole shit and caboodle.
There's another show coming out called The World After or something. I forget what it is, but it's like kind of on the other end of the spectrum from Fear the Walking Dead, where it's like many years have passed after the apocalypse and people flying around in helicopters and shit. And I don't know. I mean, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I can't not watch it.
I mean, I got to tell people, it's not a spoiler because I told you already before I bought you the books how it.
So it is
how
a spoiler for anybody that cares about how it ends. It ends in the comics.
Yeah, in the comics.
Because
we don't know what the show's going to
end.
It
can't end like this in the show. It's
No,
impossible.
In the comic, which is I don't know how I feel about it. If it's a letdown or if it's the right thing. But they end it with, in the comics, Carl reading to his daughter. And it's just the story of Rick Grimes and how he saved everybody.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't like that. I don't know how you want it to end.
It may be the only way. That's why I said I don't know.
Because when you told me that the first time, I almost fucking
I was
lost.
saying it was a dream.
Yes, I almost fucking lost my mind and killed everybody. Because I thought you were saying like he was reading a story, like never-ending story style, like reading her a book, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
No,
but that's not it. He was just, and they've already done that kind of in the show. Judith has been reading RJ, her little brother, stories of the brave man.
And she's been documenting lately.
Documenting everything. So it's almost like they're building it up to like, she's already been kind of doing that.
Because they killed Carl.
To RJ, because Carl's dead. Or did you say he was reading to Judith or to his own daughter?
It looked like his own daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was his daughter because she says, read it again, Daddy.
Oh, okay. Okay. Which, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's about, I don't know if I expected him.
I don't know what you expected either. I think that's a good way to end it. I mean, there's going to be a lot of shit that comes up to that, like that's not like a.
I guess I just wanted Rick to live, maybe. Forever and be the guy that.
Yeah. I don't know how long he lives in the comics.
I don't either. I have no idea about that. I just did like I always do and went to the last page.
Yeah.
When I was in
I have no
story.
idea how long he lives in the comics. I know he loses his hand. I know.
Yeah, early.
I know him and
Governor cuts it off.
Okay. Him and Andrea are a thing for a while. They killed her off like season 2 or like 3 maybe in the show. Yeah. So it's going to be. I'm super excited, and it's an amazing gift, very thoughtful, and the cabinet enclosure case that you made me is
it's a cabinet. I think that's the best way to put it.
Is fucking spot on. And if the fact that they haven't been reaching out to you to pay you for
a trademark so they can read
the rights
them better.
Yeah, because I thought you had actually written that on there.
Hell no.
And was super impressed, but I'm very impressed with the fact that you printed it out, cut it out so well because it looks amazing, and then like shellacked it on there.
1,000 coats.
It's perfect though. We just need like a little piece of wood to like put in. That would be too much to get it off.
Yeah. Oh, you're never gonna get it off.
No, I mean the like in the show they had a piece of.
I thought about that. I even cut one to size down there. There's one in the garage. I may have swept it up, but it's just a little.
No, it's fine. It's perfect the way it is with the chain.
For the look of
yes,
for you,
it is.
But
I'd end up with a goddamn splinter.
Tell them what the code is. This is how you gift, guys. Just so
the code for everybody that's our age and that had pagers in the 90s. The code on the lock is 143. So
boom. Take notes.
Just.
No stone unturned.
For all the children listening, 143 was what you
on every boyfriend or girlfriend you ever had.
On every boyfriend, girlfriend. I mean, I did it with my like BFFs on our pagers when you'd page them. 143 means I love you. It's 1 letter, 4 letters, 3 letters. And
yes,
I love you too, babe.
Yeah. No, I was proud of that one. And I don't know. I've never seen one. Like I was looking for ideas of things to do, and there was nothing. Like I was like, what can I put them in? Like I can't make like a perfect box. Like everything I make out of wood is going to look like just like knives I make. There's going to be imperfections, but how can I use that to my advantage? And that is to make a hospital door that looks like shit.
That looks like it's been beaten on by zombies on the other side.
Guts have been on
that's the other thing is that in the comics, they call them zombies. I'm like, what the fuck? The word zombie doesn't exist in the show.
Oh, they're walkers.
In that universe. Right. They're walkers. They're
Which bothered me in the first time we watched it. I remember saying, I hate that. Why do they call them walkers? Why don't they call them zombies?
It was just, and it's something that even Chris Hardwick said on The Talking Dead one day. He's like, there are two things that like you've got to just come to terms with and just be able to accept is that in this world, nobody ever knew the word zombie or what it was. And number two is that we won't ever know why or how this is happening.
Yeah. Speaking of another world, just to let people know about it, new show tip
I was going to
that we dove into and binged over a couple weeks. Reprisal on Hulu.
Yes.
Shockingly super good.
watch it.
Sucked me right in. Definitely a whole nother. It's just cool. You got to really like. I'm the worst at it because I didn't really start paying attention till like you started. That's why when you started and everything you would ask me, who's I don't know. I was just kind of half.
I'm like, we're like
it.
episode 6. Why the fuck don't you know? Well, no. What happened is I was watching it with you, but you would always put it on right when like I'm falling asleep. So I would watch like 10 minutes of it and then be asleep, and then the next night I'd be like, what happened? You're like, I don't know, because you know what you do is you're looking at your phone the whole time you're watching something.
And I've already taken like my Ambien, so I am
so
not
you're
responsible for what I recall and don't.
Correct. But what he means by another world is that we didn't find this out till like we were almost done with it, but you got to just go into it knowing that like, don't try and figure out what time period this is. That's what Randall and I were doing. And we were like, what time period is this? Like the cars they're driving and the TVs they're watching don't match up to other things. So just it's just a made up time period with no historical facts that make sense. And it's
cool as shit, though.
It's just like a whole like alternate universe, and just don't try and figure that kind of shit out, and just watch it for the story, and it's amazing.
It's pretty damn dope. I had no
and
expectations.
It has a very Rick Grimes like character in it that like I kept just seeing Rick Grimes in that guy.
No, but there's also a badass woman.
Yes, fuck yes.
A savage that you don't see coming, like a Carol when she's being Cookie Carol.
She never raises her voice above a whisper.
No.
Never. She's always talking like
you're dead.
She doesn't even like people to curse.
No.
She gets a little tight when somebody says a curse word.
She's got skills too.
But then, it's really good. So if you have Hulu, go watch Reprisal and that kind of thing. It's like, great. Now we watch season 1, and
it'll be 2 years before season 2.
Hopefully they don't Mindhunter us. You know, Mindhunter has completely broken our hearts with.
I think they fucked themselves. They lost the head of steam between 1 and 2. That was unnecessary. Like you gotta capture lightning in a bottle. I mean, I don't want you to rush like 6 months put out on it, but a year.
Plan better.
Not 2 years.
Just plan better. It was 2 years.
2 fucking years. That's unacceptable.
Oh, yeah.
And The Walking Dead's gonna do the same shit if they don't hurry up with these Rick Grimes movies.
I know they kicked him off the show, not dead, and then they're talking about movies.
3. They've already signed. There's 3
Scott M. Gimple said that on the Talking Dead after the show where he left. And now it's only been like a year since that happened. But not
if
even.
They haven't even started production yet, then now I'm starting to get pissed off. Because now it's another year. And that's what bothers me. But so we hosted Christmas dinner at our house.
Yes.
This year. And we handled it like savages. It was, I want to give some tips.
We killed it.
About how to do it properly, how to host a big family.
How many people did we have? I didn't even count.
Murder. We had 16.
It was 16 total?
16 plates.
Even with Drake?
Yeah. Drake made 16.
Oh, he did. Okay.
So it's 16 people eating. And these are big people. On Brooke's sister, Beth, her kids are all monsters.
Brennan's what, 6'4"?
6'4".
Yeah.
They're all, 6'2" plus.
Right.
And then, and we didn't even have Griffin here for the Christmas. He came the day after.
Yep.
But, so we had the whole family here. But we really put some strategery behind it this year with the cooking and shit. So I want to pass that on to you guys. If you don't want to be stressed and murder each other, which we didn't do, which is a huge sign, is how much how stressed are you as a couple is if you argue over dumb shit. Like when you're putting together baby furniture, there's things to try to avoid. Same thing goes with cooking at the last second. You're going to fight. You're going to be
on Thanksgiving. We did because we were going, and we weren't even hosting. We were going to somewhere in Elsa's house, and we we were like, well, fuck.
No, it's a real deal. But we
Christmas,
started
we were
cooking
golden.
2 days in advance. Prepped like the baked beans, shit that you could put in the refrigerator. Done.
Started boiling eggs the day before.
I was never stressed. As far as the cooking timeline, and we had food ready early. That never happens. We ate before.
We told everybody, dinner was at 6. Dinner was ready at 5. But then we waited till like 5:45 when my parents got here because they were late. They were later. My dad was cleaning a gun or something,
which is scary.
It's very scary. And he was like, I thought dinner was at 6. I'm like, we were just early. It's not. Yes.
But so we were able to have them eat right away because, they tend to leave earlier because, your mom wants to get home.
Mom has an appetite though.
She can
That's
still
one
throw
thing.
Down
that's one thing that.
No problem.
Yeah. Susan made her a nice big plate, and who was done first?
She was done first.
She was done.
It's always going to be someone on
first.
your side of the family.
Yes. I looked over, her plate was clean. I was like, is that food good? And she was like, yeah.
Yes, we did like a 10-pound turkey.
Just the breast.
It's not huge, just a big breast. And a 12-pound ham.
Yeah.
12 or 14-pound ham. And
we had a lot of dishes.
I was like, we don't have enough. We don't have enough.
You're always like that though. And I was like, what are you talking about? We don't have enough. We had green beans in the crock pot. We had my green bean casserole. We had macaroni pie. We had Susan brought sweet potato casserole. We had
a million deviled
eggs. Mashed potatoes. Beth brought stuffing.
No, Susan
brought stuffing. Beth brought the 2 desserts.
I made pineapple casserole.
You made pineapple casserole.
Was not a big hit. Expected that. Not many people liked it.
Oh, there's still one in the fridge, I think.
Beth liked it.
Yeah.
She's the only one. Jim tried it and was like, I love you, bro. It's the worst shit I've ever had.
Pass.
But he's not, it's not for everybody. I made it for me, so I wasn't upset about it.
You want somebody to like it with it. If Beth liked it, that's a win.
That is a win. Pineapple casserole is delicious. What is it? Pineapples, a little sugar, graham crackers crushed up with a little melted butter on them. Toast it in the oven for a little bit. Cheese underneath the graham crackers. A delicious treat.
Actually, no, I tasted it and it wasn't bad. Because you know what? Nothing makes sense in my world sometimes because I don't like hot fruit. I don't like cobblers and apple pies and all that. But so that immediately, when I think about it, just makes me...
Yeah, it fits your criteria of what you don't like.
Pineapple, one of my favorite toppings on pizza.
Yeah, so it does... It does make no sense. But it's like when you eat it on pizza, you don't consider it a fruit. I think you consider it like a jalapeno accent.
Something. Yeah, because I like sweet and spicy together. But I took a bite of your pineapple casserole.
Didn't throw up.
And it wasn't, because it wasn't still hot.
It's not piping. You don't serve it piping
and it's
hot.
not syrupy, which is what apple pie and all those cobblers are. So I think it's a combination of the warm and the syrupy of the pies and cobblers that turns me off. And so I need to give your pineapple casserole another chance next time you make it.
It's not bad. We had macaroni pie, of course.
That's what my mom, the crispy ones on the top, my mom kept saying they were bones.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. This is, of course, she's dealing with
she's got dementia.
So
and
that's okay if she says that. That's the best.
We were like, no, Mom, there's no bones in the macaroni. It's just noodles that are crunchy. And she's like,
and let
there's
me tell
bones.
you a tip. This is not meant as a slight. This was a very great moment. But we let Gunner pick out gifts for Brooke's mom because in the stage that she's at, she likes trinkets, like little things. She's always liked them. But before this, she's always been very expensive taste. Like she's got like $5,000 crystal figurines and shit in their house. But now, because of where she's at with her dementia, she just likes figurines of any kind to put. What can she put on her mantle?
Yeah.
And so Gunner loves to pick her out shit. We took him shopping, let him pick her out stuff. And we kind of pointed him toward those little Santas. It's literally like a little dollar store Santa, but he's got a flashlight built into his stomach.
Yeah.
Double whammy, home run.
That was a home run. I picked that one out, and I asked Gunnar.
You pointed him.
I was like, Gunnar, how about this one? He was like, yes. And also the little house, like it was like a little. It looked like it would go on like a Christmas Village or something, but it's like a dollar store version.
Yeah, but it was a post office.
It was that and the Santa flashlight were a big hit. And he also got her a little like stuffed animal dog that she was like, how cute.
And a huge Power
And then
Ranger.
like a huge like Power Ranger, like not huge, like probably 12 inches or something.
Yeah, it's a big action figure.
That she was like, well, where do I put him? I was like, on your mantle, because that's where she says she's going to put everything. So, and then he also, when they had the little store at his school where we sent him with money and like a little budget, he got presents for me and you and
Bubba.
both of my parents and Bubba. Yes, and he got us little keychains that said "I love Mom" and "I love Dad," and I immediately put it on my keychain. I haven't seen yours on your keychain yet.
I don't use keychains. I've got mine in my.
It says "I love
stuff.
Dad."
I'm not throwing it away. I've got it in the box.
It's adorable, and he got my dad like this foam sign thing that says like "World's Best Grandpa," and then my mom, he got her like this little. It's like a little locket, like a little gold locket thing that opens with a mirror or like a compact, I guess, but it says best grandma in the world something, but it was all very cute and she loved it. She, I think she was a little confused as to why she was getting so many things because she didn't really understand.
Well, no, but that was more for us. Like I enjoyed her opening her presents more than anybody else because you don't know how long she'll be able to even participate. So the only way, if any of you are facing that with a family member is to try to maximize the best times that you can. Yeah. And that's what made it that was my favorite part
I loved it.
The dinner was her getting to open her presents.
I loved it.
Whether she knew exactly why she was getting so many or not, it was the funnest part.
Because she's usually trying to find things
to give to other people
or she's usually trying to find things like in the house that she's
steal.
in.
Yes,
to steal.
Yeah, she wants it. She'll take your shit.
And so this way, she came out on top. Anyway,
she didn't really steal anything.
Nothing.
She had a score.
Yeah.
Only thing she took was the nerds of Gunners because it was that cool little figure.
That big
I knew
nerd
that was gone.
Yeah, that big container that was in his stocking. That was a big giant plastic nerd that had nerds in it, but he didn't even notice.
No, I know, but
and that's why I was like, yes, it's fine. And then you started to say something the next day, and I kicked you in the shin, like, shut the fuck up. Now he's gonna know.
I'm still eating his candy, so I knew. Who cares? That candy since Halloween, I've eaten 90% of the candy we've had in this
except
house,
for the chocolate that's still in the pantry. I've been working on that.
That's all. You're the chocolate, but all the nerds, all the fucking sugar terribleness, I've eaten it. And I'm getting tired of it. I'm candied out.
Poor thing.
So it was very good for her help. But that made me want to bring up something to the listeners too. And I had a listener send us a question on Instagram about this before Christmas. We never answered it because it's just kind of a weird question. But now it actually makes sense to me because I don't know how everybody else feels about it. I think that adults should have a stocking, but you don't buy stuff to put in a stocking. Because I wouldn't have had anything for your stocking if I didn't stuff those.
There was nothing in your stocking. I'm so sorry.
I expect that. But I'm trying to ask
the things
others
I bought
if
for your
that's what they
stocking
do.
were too heavy.
But why would you buy what,
Because to make it all even.
But it almost, I think there should be an agreement, and we'll make this agreement going forward. We just don't even worry about, because to me it's extra stress. I didn't like having to.
You don't have to.
I know, but if we have an agreement, I won't worry about it.
Okay, you should have seen this year by your stocking not having anything in it.
So I didn't want to wrap those leggings. There was nothing of real value. You mean your stocking had presents in it because I didn't want to wrap them.
And they fit in there and didn't pull off the mantle.
Did you feel how full?
Yeah.
Because it had those two different leggings.
Baby, we don't have to come to an official agreement. If there's time to get things, I just don't want to Did your feelings get hurt because there was nothing in your stocking?
Not at all. I had.
And I'm going to tell you right now, my feelings would not get hurt if there was nothing in mine.
Well, good.
So if there's time to put stuff in each other's stockings, we can do it. If not, we're not going to get each other's feelings hurt, and that's fine.
I'm not going to buy that.
Gunnar didn't even notice.
I'm going to need paperwork.
It's all about him.
I know. I'm going to need paperwork by you, signed,
Baby.
telling me that. So
Why?
I don't feel, because I'm going to not.
I will remind you
abide.
next Christmas.
Okay. As long as you do that.
And it should have been message loud and clear that everything was just wrapped under the tree for you. There was nothing in yours because you did all the candy shopping like I did.
I know. That's exactly the point. Like, it's not feasible for adults in a marriage to buy each other stuff. Like, you're buying each other shit anyway. It's your both money.
Well, this was our first year too, where like 5 days before Christmas, it was, dusk till dawn with the kids. So it's not like I had time to go do anything.
Only one of us is going to get that chance.
Right.
So
exactly.
That's why
we're fine,
we're
baby.
going to make this law.
Fine. It's fine.
The stockings
Do
go
not-
up as decoration.
Please don't
They do
stress
not
about
get
it. I need you to
utilized.
not stress about it and just.
You know how it is. I'll have my lawyers reach out. And I need you to get it
It's
notarized,
fine, baby. It's fine.
when you sign it.
I will remind you next Christmas. You don't have to get anything for my stocking.
There really is also a post-Christmas depression. For me, at least, there is. It's not like severe depression, but it's a
yes.
letdown. It
No.
really sucks.
And this year, it's like it was delayed a day because we still had presents under the tree.
I know.
But once Griffin got here on the 26th and there's nothing under the tree, every time I go
Sucks.
down there and see that, I'm sad.
I know. It sucks. Taking the lights off the house killed me. I hated it.
I was so mad at you for doing it like the day after fucking
I had
Christmas.
to do it while I had the nerve.
And you did it half-assed because now there's still the tree and
That's the only
shit,
thing left is the tree.
and actual shit inside that we need to box up.
Well,
The whole
okay.
Christmas tree and
You just have to say when.
tomorrow.
That's not my problem.
I just need the boxes. I'll fill them up. You put them back up in the attic. And then we need to go get more bins to fill everything that we have sitting in the garage.
Yeah, but it is because everybody, you're in like the holiday spirit. We love Christmas. I mean, we talked about it, like from October
From Halloween
through December is big for us.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's big for everybody, but we love that segment.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's done, it's like,
Yeah. It's just like, well, what do we do now? And I always get sad, like, even, like, I mean, this is our first Christmas in our new home, which is very special. So that's just even another notch on why, like, it's even a little bit more sad. But, like, every year when we take down the Christmas decorations and everything is back to normal inside the house, I'm like, it's fucking boring in here.
for sure. Absolutely.
Like I remember last year, because like in our old house we had that big fireplace, and like seeing it without stockings on it, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it won't be the old house. It was worse than it's going to be in
was-
here because
yeah.
this house is much more decorated and has a theme with how we bought, because we bought a lot of things new for this house and built stuff, so we were able to decorate it in like our first taste together, because your house was already decorated by you that I moved into. This one has got like both of our flares, so I think it won't be as but it'll still suck.
Yeah, it's still for some reason. Yeah, it I don't know. We'll see once the tree is down and everything. And I mean, it'll be getting something to get used to downstairs, because the tree, that big chair, will be back where that tree is. And at first, when we moved it over, I was like, ugh, this is in the way.
I just thought about that today.
But now I kind of love it.
I know.
But now when it goes back, it's going to feel like that room is huge again. Like,
you want to know what rich white people problems
I know.
sound like?
it really is
It's so
stupid.
real, though. I was just thinking about it like today when I was laying on the
So
couch.
dumb.
I was like, it's going to be like with this chair back.
We're crying about moving a
Good
chair
Lord.
back in a corner where
People
our
are like,
Christmas tree
why don't you give me some, why don't you get some real problems,
I know.
assholes? Unsubscribe.
Sorry.
Got no real problems. This is
Hey.
the worst. Hey, I'll take it as my life. If this is the worst shit, I'm winning. So winning.
I'm very happy with our lives. And so we get to gripe about things like that because we don't have, I mean, we have things we could gripe about, I guess. I mean, we're not like Scrooge McDucking and
No,
anything,
but not really. I mean, there's people with real problems in their lives that we couldn't.
I don't even want to
even throw a fucking.
No,
candle
we are
at,
very lucky, and yes. And also, so are we going to do my thing next?
Yes. And, well, we're getting to it in like 2 things. We're just running long.
Okay.
The thing I wanted to get to you is to see if you saw. Did you watch Eddie Murphy's Return to Saturday Night Live?
I watched it right next to you in bed.
Did I? I thought I watched it alone downstairs. Could have been zoned out.
It was in the morning on whatever day that was. Was that day after? Nope. What was it? Saturday before Christmas? I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
You started watching it downstairs, came up. It was in the morning because I remember coming upstairs with my coffee.
That's right.
And Gunnar was even in our room for some of it. And then I think we kicked Gunnar out, put him in his room with John, turned it off for a minute, did naked things, then turned it back on. How are you not remembering all this?
No, I remember now.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
He fucking killed it.
Yeah, I thought
it was great.
Here are my thoughts.
It's the best Saturday Night Live episode.
Really good. It was
time.
a really good trip down memory lane that I think is needed. The only thing it concerned me about is him coming back and doing a comedy special. Like for Saturday Night Live, I thought it was epic. It was really good. I enjoyed it. But I don't know.
He has a comedy special?
Yeah, he signed with Netflix, like $65 million.
Oh, that's why in the intro, Dave Chappelle was like, this is half a Netflix budget on stage.
Yeah, with him and...
on the monologue.
Yeah, between him and Eddie Murphy. And it's definitely half of their budget.
And there was like 3 other people that came out with
Tracy
him.
Morgan doesn't have a Netflix comedy special.
No.
He came out. But he said he made his millions off getting hit by a truck on the road.
And he did make millions
Who
off
was the
that.
other comedian that came up?
Well, Keenan came out, but somebody... Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. Got it, yeah. So, but anyway, so my point is with him, and I could be worrying about nothing. I'll have to wait to see, but I just don't know if he can top Delirious.
I don't know if he's going to top Delirious either, but I think it could still be really good.
Maybe. I just hate to compare. Like, he's such a... Like, that Delirious is such the standard for me because of when it was, when we were young.
Yeah.
And it holds up.
And Raw.
To now. Oh, I know, but Delirious is so much better than Raw, and Raw is so much better than everything else.
Right.
So I don't know, but
I'm here
rich,
for
so
it though. I'm here for it because I think he was fucking perfect on Saturday. It was the best episode of Saturday Night Live I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I'm not a huge right now. If you take Kate McKinnon off SNL, I don't even know if I watch right now.
For some reason, I still always watch because I'm. It's almost like I'm scared I'm gonna miss some epic. Because I actually watched Dick in a Box live.
Well, there's no Adam Sandberg anymore.
No. I'm just saying. You never know. He was newish when that was on.
He was doing those shorts though with his little group.
What I'm saying is, you never know when one of these motherfuckers is all of a sudden gonna be legendary. I've just got. I don't know. I'm just like. That's why I always have it on like our old house. I had it on DVR and I would go back and watch like 2 or 3 of them. I like watching them just to make sure I'm not missing something completely epic. But for the most part, huge disappointment, except for Kate McKinnon.
No, I mean, she's
awesome.
She's glorious.
Ever since Kristen Wiig left, I've been super sad because she was one of my favorites of the like newer generation. But he killed it. It was everything it should be. And we will watch his special.
Of course we will. I'm only worried about his legacy, and that's none of my business.
And how does he look exactly the same as he did in 1982?
Because black don't crack.
He looks
great.
He hasn't aged a day. It's insane. And he has 10 kids. 10
Well, you know
kids.
how much money he has. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Dr. Doolittle money. All that people gave him shit.
Daddy daycare.
And daddy daycares. That motherfucker is rolling and like gives zero
much money. Haunted Mansion. He's got Disney money.
That's the money that
Disney.
And Shrek.
Disney money.
Yeah. So he's never. So the fact he's coming back, hopefully it's just a labor of love thing. So
he's got 10 kids. He said it in the monologue on Saturday Night Live. He said, "Why am I working so much? 10 kids are expensive." And he like literally just had one. He has like a 1-year. He has a kid younger than Gunnar, and he's like 60.
Probably something like that. Yeah, probably right around that.
with not a wrinkle on his face and 10 kids. I was blown away.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we're going to do a little segment here that we had talked about doing where I'm going to have no idea what it is or who it's about. And Brooke's just going to kind of present it. We're going to discuss it and see. My idea is we don't have a name for this segment. Do you have any idea what you think my first thought is?
It's going to be something silly.
MurderTits.
Exactly. I was like, it's going to have some type of profanity in it. MurderTits.
Yeah, it's just what I scribbled down. So here's the
sure.
Talk about the first.
It's what I think we had said originally. Like we were talking about, like give me a little like true crime segment on where I can tell you about some shit. You almost started to watch something about this person the other day, and I told you don't do that. You were gonna watch something like American Ripper or something.
Oh yes, when I was scrolling through shit to watch.
And I was like, is that about H.H. Holmes? Like, stop.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea who that is because that's why I asked you when I pulled it up. So.
Right, and I asked you. I said, do you know anything about that guy? And you said no. And I was like, well, good, because I was gonna probably tell you about him and my first.
So H.H. Holmes.
So yes, and I will say. I'll be very official and say that I got all this information. I basically knew a very high level of him. I've listened to a bunch of podcasts about him. But for this, I got information from some website called the 13th Floor, which I dig it. And a History Channel article titled The Murder Castle. And it was originally published in like July 2017. And then it was updated this year. So I love American Horror Story too. Mm-hmm. You never watched it with me. American Horror Story, the season Hotel, was about the Hotel Cortez. And there was a main character in that season named James March. So the setting of the hotel was based off, there's that infamous hotel in Los Angeles called the Hotel Cecil or Cecil. Have you ever heard about that? It's kind of near Skid Row.
I've heard nothing about anything murder related other than Dahmer, Bundy, Gacy, BTK, and who is the Sagittarius killer? Zodiac. Sagittarius. That's my sign.
That's your sign.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know anything about.
So there you go, like the basic five. I don't know anything.
Those are like the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, Dahmer is my guy.
I thought BTK was.
Is your guy.
I thought BTK.
I like BTK. He would be a close, but
and
Dahmer's
No, it's fascinated. By
he's my guy of serial killers.
Oh, I'm fascinated.
Number one to me because there's the most about him.
Yeah. And we just watched that 2-part series.
Which was great. I loved it.
So that's another one we recommend that was on Hulu, Dahmer on Dahmer. Very similar to the Kemper on Kemper, which was also very good. It's a lot of footage of Dahmer actually in interviews.
Dahmer is way less nice feeling than Kemper. Kemper almost seemed like the nicest guy. Dahmer's sick, but he's so upfront about it that you're like, at least I can respect. Like I'm not saying I respect what he did, but you're like,
yes, I get it.
I get what you're saying.
He's like
psycho, but damn.
He's like, I dehumanized him, and then I just wanted somebody. Don't touch me. I just wanted somebody to lay with, and so I had to kill him. I want to touch you. Yeah, I just want somebody to lay there. Okay, so you don't know about Hotel Cecil. There's other weird things that happen there. It's kind of based on that, the American Horror Story season. But the main character, James March, is, as well as many features of that hotel in that season, are based on H.H. Holmes and his murder castle.
Well, when is he from? What's his time period?
I'm telling you right now. He was born in New Hampshire. Shout out to Almy.
Of course he was.
in 1861. So we're taking it way back. He was born in 1861. He went by like a million different aliases. When he was an adult, he abandoned his young wife and baby in 1885 and hightailed it to Illinois. And then that's when he was born with like his name was Herman Webster Mudgett when he was born in New Hampshire. When he moved to Illinois, he changed it to Holmes, apparently after Sherlock Holmes, whatever. But he also went by like 3 different aliases because he was a criminal. And then before so the Murder Castle was actually a hotel. That's why the American Horror Story, the hotel, was named after it. It was deemed the Murder Castle after everybody figured out what he was doing in there. So before he got into owning a hotel, his primary business was insurance fraud. And he started that when he was studying medicine at the University of Michigan, because he would collect insurance payouts on cadavers he stole from the school. He's basically like, this person died, I need their insurance. And made a lot of money doing that. And then when he graduated, he moved a bunch of places. He kept getting like questioned about disappearances and murders of like different people, and as soon as he would start getting questioned about it, he would bounce. And then like he ended up in Philadelphia one time. He was answering questions about another dead child, bounced to Chicago. So he had all this money from these insurance scams, and then he used that to build the hotel. So he built that just in Chicago. He was in Chicago, had all his money from insurance scams. It's about to be the World's Fair. So perfect timing to build a hotel. Yeah. All these people coming to Chicago. Let's build a hotel right here, right in the middle of the city. So he welcomed his first tenants that would also be his first victims. And mostly it was his hotel employees who were his first victims, as well as tenants, mostly women. Somehow he would, I think just the employees, I don't know how the tenants he would convince to do this, but employees, he would require them to take out insurance policies first with him as the benefactor.
Wow.
So he'd be like, hey, congratulations, you're hired. I just need you to sign this. Just sign here. And then he'd be like, and now go into this room. And so his guests started to disappear. His girlfriend started to disappear. His employees. So this hotel he built, it had a bunch of soundproof rooms, secret passages, maze of hallways that went nowhere, staircases that went nowhere. The rooms all had like some of them had trap doors. All of them probably had trap doors. And then like chutes that would drop down to the basement, where like in all of the hotel stuff has got to be about him in the season of American Horror Story, because it was just like this.
Yeah. Has there not been a movie made just about this whole?
The only thing
like a movie that it would be easy to make.
I would think so. The only thing I've seen is the American Horror Story season in the hotel. Wow. And it was super scary. It was a really good episode. Season. It was the one where like Lady Gaga was the fan. I mean, there was other components of it, but it was really good. Like everybody that died there stayed there as a ghost. Like if you died in the hotel, you were permanently there. Which I'm sure this.
Did he have a method that he used to kill?
Multiple.
So he wasn't like a signature.
So and there's different rooms and stuff that did different things.
So he was about that paper. He wanted the cash.
He wanted the cash, and he really liked it. Like he kind of enjoyed killing people, it seemed like. So when he was building it though, so he had all this weird shit happening, but he had to have people come build this hotel for him. But while it was being built, he was constantly like rotating teams of construction workers and shit, because he would hire people to do some shit and then fire them and say they were incompetent.
Because they would catch on to all
exactly.
the fucking,
yeah. Exactly. And he had to obviously do that, because if somebody was on it from beginning to end, they'd be like, what the fuck are you building?
He sounds like one of the smarter serial killers as far as IQ and shit. If he's able to...
He was very smart.
Go to school, figure out early insurance fraud. This is pioneer type shit.
Yes.
Insurance fraud. And all the fuckery in the hotel.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
I mean, he was technically going to school to be a doctor, so
Yeah.
he definitely had the smarts. It was just...
What does he look like? Have you seen pictures of him?
It's all like drawings.
Oh, okay.
There are some, but it's so long
I was
ago.
wondering if he's horrifying like Ed Gein.
No, it's very old timey, big mustache. Like think of like Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
That's basically what he looks like. So the second floor, let me see. He fired everybody because they didn't want him to discover the true purpose of the hotel. True. The second floor of the castle was his like kill floor. Some of the rooms were fitted with gas lines, so he would just asphyxiate them while they were sleeping. Other rooms were reinforced with metal plates and gas-powered blow torches to burn
That's
people
fucking
alive.
Terrible.
Yes.
The gas killing them is pretty humane. Like
That's
carbon
fine.
monoxide
I'll
poisoning
take that
them
all
to
day.
death. Like they're just going to go to sleep.
You're just going to never wake up.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. Burn to death?
No, that's fucking
No.
terrible.
Also, and there was like a fucking, I close out the tab, but there was like in one of these articles I read, there was like a floor plan of like a hand-drawn floor plan that had all these, and it showed all the different rooms and what they were for. He's also got a hanging room where he would have his chloroform victims just hang them up by their neck until they were dead. And then the basement where like all these rooms basically had like the garbage chutes going
Laundry
down.
chute.
Right. Garbage, laundry chute, same function, but for bodies to go down to the basement. He had like vats of acid and of quicklime, and he had a crematorium down there.
It had to smell good.
Yeah.
Does the structure still exist?
I'm getting there. So he also had an airtight bank vault in his office. And he murdered people in there. Like he basically just put them in there and closed the door.
He had to make a shitload of money on his insurance scams to build.
He built
in Chicago, no matter what time period.
Yeah.
That's prime real estate.
Yeah.
So he had to be loaded.
Right. And it's in Inglewood in Chicago, that neighborhood. I don't know. Near Jackson Park. Anybody from Chicago, Rachel Miller, if you're listening, you probably know.
Muddy Tits.
Yeah, Muddy Tits. So in this bank vault in his office, Annie Williams was like one of his girlfriends. He locked her in there. She had just signed over a property deed to home. Like, he must have been charming as fuck, too.
What's crazy is if you've got that, most killers don't have that kind of Scrooge McDuck money, so you know you're a sick fuck if you're still killing people and you need nothing financially from them. Yeah. Like, at all. That's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah. He was, like, purely doing it. I have a quote in here somewhere from him. Yeah, I mean, anybody he was involved with, basically, they ended up dead. He also, there was an affair he had with some lady named Julia. She was, she also had a daughter named Pearl, and then he knocked her.
She had a Pearl in that time period.
I know.
Why not?
And he knocked her up, and guess what happened?
Killed them.
He killed both of them. Yeah. So.
What's his victim? Where does he rank on serial killers?
It's so long ago that it's hard to tell. Like, he actually was convicted of one person's death, and he was sentenced to death for it. And then through that whole process, they found evidence in the hotel of him, of like 27 to 30 people. But he was also like a pathological liar, like, go figure. They're thinking like anywhere between like 30 and 200.
See, that's what killed me though. Now I'm always skeptical about these guys' stats, especially after the thing we watched about old dude recently. The
confession killer.
Yeah, the guy that told the cops killed thousands just so they could scratch off cases and close them. They were like, oh shit.
They were like, we'll get you smoothies from Sonic. Cigarettes.
All you can smoke.
Cigarettes and like, it was like smoothies and cigarettes, and they would, yeah, it's terrible.
So that's the only part that, like,
this motherfucker though built a whole hotel with the designs
it's hard
to kill
keep
people.
record from then too. Like that hurts him in as far as the stats of the baseball cards go with serial killers. That's probably why I had never heard of him.
Right. I mean, the means of his killing though is what's so it could be. Yeah, let me see.
No, it's pretty sick.
He confessed before he was executed. He confessed to murdering 27, but he was a career con man, so it's like you take it with a grain of salt. But most people believe it's modest and his death toll to be between 100 and 200. Oh, only 9 at the hotel could be confirmed because he had vats of acid and shit.
Well, no, Dahmer made that clear.
Nothing's going to be left.
You could melt everything with
that. So he had vats of acid. He was burning. Like they found the little mini crematorium he had. They found like a necklace and like some other shit in there. So right now, yeah, he was executed May 7th, 1896, and the murder castle remained for another like 40 years until 1938, and then it was torn down. And then now that site is the Englewood branch of the U.S. Post Office that must be haunted as fuck.
It's crazy, man. A federal workplace.
Yep. A government owned. They're like, oh, this is where
I'm sure they got the property for dirt ass cheap.
Pennies on the dollar. They got it for nothing because no fucking buddy wanted to build any reputable business there. They're like, oh, put a post office here.
Well, so how did you ever hear about him then? Because I've never heard of him.
Oh, God. I heard about him. I think it's more of like I just consume so much murder and true crime that I had heard mentions of him in I don't know what podcast. And then when I went, I think the first time I heard like all the details about him was when I listened to this podcast called the Serial Killer Podcast. And the dude that hosts it is like, I think he's in like the Netherlands or something. And a lot of his delivery is kind of quirky and cheesy, and he calls it like dear listeners, like he's super like
dramatic.
Yes, but oh God, John just farted. Holy shit,
he is right on time.
Right on time.
Right at an hour, he starts like letting us know to get out of this room.
God,
it's like clockwork.
He just stretched. Like what's happening?
He does it every time, right at an hour.
God,
like, I've had enough time for the big guy to get a snack.
The buzzer. But the first time I'd heard all the details on it was listening to that, and then I can't remember if the American Horror Story season was. I want to say it was after I had already watched that I listened to that podcast, and then I put the pieces together of like, oh fuck, yeah. It was that too, because he was named James March in the show, and it was just very American Horror Story because it's always very gory and horrible deaths and terrible things happening. But when I listened to that, I was like, oh my God, that was a real person.
It makes me think that every horror movie that has been made during our time that refer, because a ton of them have these buildings and facilities with rooms like that.
Right.
And I mean, you got, what's the one with the creepy guy where you're playing the game? It's just a weird face and people had to like kill each other. Saw. Like those type of structures where there's all this bullshit, like all that has to be loosely based on him. Like Ed Gein is kind of the base of
Saw very well. That could be loosely based on it. As loosely based as Texas Chainsaw Massacre is on
Ed Gein. But no, that's the first thing I thought of was that horrible Saw facility.
Oh my God.
Started describing it.
Right. There's no vat of hypodermic needles or anything, but for old timey times, it's pretty fucking complicated and advanced and high tech ways of.
I respect his effort, like as far as.
And he only got caught when he went. Like he didn't even get caught like in the murder castle. He got caught when he like went to go meet up with his old buddy that used to do cons with him, and then convinced him to like fake his death. But then he was like, oh, it'll be better if like he really dies. So then he murdered him. and then, like ran off with his wife and kids, and his wife didn't know that he had really murdered him. And then that's when he got caught. Like the murder castle like was basically flawless. Like people were just ended up missing, and everybody's like, well, I don't know.
So that's H.H. Holmes.
H.H. Holmes, yes. He's horrifying. Oh, and hang on. Wait, I had some kind of quote in here from him that was like, ugh. Oh, he said, so he authored an autobiography, of course, which is very like Carl Panzam, which is probably another one I should tell you about because he's bad. While he was in jail, he did his autobiography. And one quote says, I could not help the fact that I was a murderer no more than the poet can help the inspiration to sing. So there you go.
What Dahmer said.
Yeah. He's
just
like, it's
in
just
a less poetic way.
Right. He's like, I mean, it's just what I am. Like, that's what's happening, guys.
See, that's why
murderer's gonna murder.
The guys on Mindhunter were such pioneers for sitting down and picking the brains of these guys.
Yes.
Because had Dahmer stayed alive, which he got what he deserved, getting beat to death in prison, but had he stayed alive, he was so willing to talk.
He wanted that too.
What, to die?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he flat out said he deserved to die.
Yeah.
And that he said he shouldn't be let out.
Mm-hmm.
But he would have talked. They could have studied him.
He would have told
more.
him anything they wanted. Yeah, I mean, he would have told him everything.
And that just, I'm saying that not for entertainment purposes, but for,
Education.
profilers and all that shit.
Yeah.
To, be able to catch these guys sooner. Dahmer should have been caught
so many times.
This a whole nother.
Yes.
You can do a whole thing on that, and I don't want to spoil it. But yes, he could have been caught 150 times.
It's like decades.
Should have been caught.
Decades and decades before. It could have saved 20 people. Yeah.
But, no, that's awesome. We did have one listener question I wanted to get to before we wrap up, just asking if we have any New Year's resolutions and what do we think of couples resolutions.
Okay. Well, I remember we did a New Year's special last year. I think Rachel was on actually. And I mean, I said it last year. I don't do New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, I don't really do them.
I'm trying to live my best me every day.
I don't really.
I don't want to set myself up for something.
Yeah, I don't want to set up a failure.
There's already enough pressure in life.
Of being a celebrity podcaster. There's enough pressure in this life.
Right.
For God's sakes, all right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to be the best wife and mom I can be every day.
Oh, yeah, and I've never heard of couples resolutions.
No,
so
I haven't
weird.
either. What are those?
I don't know. I mean, if you're having problems and you want to make a resolution
babe,
to do something.
Let's make a resolution that we're going to have sex at least 5 to 7 times a week. Oh, good. We already do that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're struggling, that's not a bad idea. If you're,
we win. We already do that.
If you're
Got it.
hurting for that, I see no problem in it. But I don't have a problem with people to do resolutions, whatever it takes to motivate you. If you need that, then cool, do it.
There's plenty of people that it gets them over the hump, and no pun intended, and it gets them to their goal weight or whatever. But I haven't done them since forever. I can't even remember the last time I did a New Year's resolution.
No, and I don't remember a time, even when I would do them, that I ever stuck to one. So
he's being stupid over here now, this dog.
Yeah, well, John's ready to go. Podcast of the Roundtable. We'll be looking for the tweets. We're going to be knocking out the battle back, the semifinal, and the final. The goal is to try to knock all 3 of those out in the month of January. We'll see if that happens. And this year we've already laid it down. Give you another little cryptic piece. There will be 3 judges that will be the same all the time, and that's all you need to know.
Okay.
So shut your mouths and just know that that's going to be the case.
Am I on any of these next 3 episodes?
Season 2. Yeah, well, you're on whatever you want.
I'm just wondering. You're
if you're not you're not in the battle back, because no one is. It's all competitors.
Yeah.
There's no.
No,
you
I know
or
that.
John.
I'm just.
But you'll be with me, either hosting with me.
Okay, sure.
Or whatever. But for season 2, we're not going to give any more details. It's going to be different. We're going to try to change it up.
We've told some details on a previous.
All we've said is Jody B is part of it.
Involved.
And that there are 3 judges. You now know that. that will be the same. So we won't be reaching out for judges.
Yep.
And just bring your big dick.
I'm intrigued on the same judges thing.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's all for you, dick lickers. Enjoy your new year.
Happy New Year, motherfuckers.
Yes, and hopefully you had a good Christmas. We got to meet our niece, Evelyn, by the way, the Almies, real quick. Did a flyby.
Yes, we went and saw them.
Finally got to see her cute self and Chrissy. So it was
She's
great to see them.
perfect. She's absolutely perfect. Anybody that hasn't gotten to squeeze her and hug her and love her, she's perfect. Don't touch
she's
her.
Pretty awesome.
And always good to see the Almies and both boys. And then Almies' brother's dog was fucking awesome. It's just like John.
Yeah, his whole family's great.
Yes,
they
they're
are
awesome.
what they are. Almies are fantastic.
The Almies are good people.
So not a letdown at all. Could have hung out with them all day, but didn't want to ruin their Christmas dinner family time.
Yeah, they had
we got to see him. That was the main thing, and hug and hold Evelyn. So don't worry, everybody.
And get spit up on by Evelyn, and I loved every second of it.
Great. She smelled so good. Babies are the best smell on earth.
And she was so smiley and happy, and I love her.
Yep. So shout out to the Almies. We have planned, me and Almy talked of doing a StreamYard episode with him and Chrissy in January.
Perfect.
So that'll be great.
Love it.
All right. Other than that, we got to go. I'm tired of this shit. Fuck everybody.
Bye. Happy New Year.